My beloved child, stop for just a moment, because there is something in this message that may touch a place inside you that you have kept silent for far too long. If someone you deeply loved has passed from your life, you may still remember the little things, their voice, their expression, the way they said your name, or even one ordinary moment that suddenly became precious after they were gone. And perhaps there is one question you have carried quietly ever since. What would they say to me if I could hear their heart one more time? Don't skip, because this story begins with something you may recognize immediately. Stay till the end, because the message is not about frightening you or making you live in the past. It is about the truth hidden inside love, memory, regret, and the words people sometimes leave behind without realizing how deeply those words will matter later. Something huge is waiting for you. Not a promise of something impossible, but a revelation about what their presence may have awakened inside you. There may have been a moment you never understood. A final conversation that seemed ordinary. A sentence they repeated that you dismissed at the time. A look in their eyes that you remembered only afterward. Maybe there was something they wanted to tell you but never found the right moment to say. And now, whenever their memory returns, your mind goes back to that unfinished chapter, searching for the missing piece. But listen carefully, because the truth may be closer than you think. Sometimes the message we desperately want from someone who has passed away is hidden within the things they actually gave us while they were here, the lesson they taught, the kindness they showed, the mistake they helped us survive, or the love they left behind in places we still carry today. This is where the story takes an unexpected turn, because the message waiting for you may not be about their final goodbye at all. It may be about your life after goodbye. And here is the part you were not expecting. What if the greatest truth was never meant to pull you backward, but to help you finally understand why certain memories still have such power over you? Think about the one moment with them that you would choose if you could experience only one again. Not the biggest celebration. Not the most dramatic conversation. Choose the quiet moment, the one nobody else would understand. That moment may reveal more than you realize. Because sometimes the person we lose leaves behind no perfect final speech, yet their love continues speaking through the values, courage, forgiveness, and strength they planted in us. So stay with me, because we are about to uncover the message hidden beneath that memory. The part that may explain what your heart has been trying to understand all this time. Don't skip now. The next part changes the meaning of everything you thought this message was going to be about. There is one detail you may have overlooked, my beloved child. Sometimes the strongest message left behind by someone we loved is not found in a letter, a recording, or a final conversation. It is found in what they changed inside us. Think about the person whose absence still feels strangely present. Maybe you remember something they told you years ago that suddenly makes sense today. Maybe you still hear their advice whenever you face a difficult choice. Maybe there is a small habit, phrase, place, song, or simple memory that instantly brings them close to your thoughts. Don't skip, because this is where the meaning becomes deeper. The message may not be asking you to remain trapped in yesterday. It may be reminding you that what was genuine between you was never measured by how long you had together. It was measured by what remained after the moment ended. And now comes the part that can change the way you look at the memories you carry. There may be something you regret not saying. Perhaps you wish you had apologized sooner, expressed your love more openly, spent more time together, or simply asked one more question. That regret can become incredibly heavy when there is no longer an opportunity to rewrite the conversation. But listen carefully, love does not become meaningless because a conversation remained unfinished. Sometimes forgiveness begins when you stop demanding a perfect ending from an imperfect human story. The person you loved had their own fears, weaknesses, hopes, and unfinished thoughts too. What mattered was not whether every sentence was spoken perfectly. What mattered was the relationship that existed between the sentences. Stay till the end, because the most important part of this message is not about what they could have told you, it is about what you still have the power to do with what they already gave you. And here is the revelation you may need today: you do not have to abandon their memory in order to continue living fully. You can carry their love without carrying every ounce of sorrow. You can remember them without making yesterday the permanent home of your heart. You can smile at something they taught you without feeling guilty for being happy again. Something huge is waiting for you in that realization, because perhaps the message you have been searching for is simply this: do not let my absence convince you that your life must stop. Let their memory become a reason to love more deeply, forgive more quickly, appreciate ordinary moments, and become the person they would have been proud to see you become. Don't skip the next part, because we are going deeper into the one truth people often discover only after losing someone precious, the truth about the words they wish they had heard, and the words they still need to say within their own heart. My beloved child, there is a moment that almost everyone who has lost someone precious eventually encounters, the moment when an ordinary day suddenly becomes extraordinary because one tiny memory brings that person back into your thoughts. You could be walking somewhere, sitting quietly, hearing an old song, seeing a familiar place, or remembering something they used to say, and suddenly your heart feels the weight of everything you never got to finish. Stay till the end, because this is where the message becomes more personal. Maybe the truth you have been searching for is not hidden in some mysterious final sentence. Maybe it is hidden in the one thing you already know but have been afraid to accept: they mattered to you, and because they mattered, their absence changed you. But being changed by someone does not mean you must remain broken by their absence. Don't skip, because there is another side to this story that you may not have considered. Think about the last memory you have of them. Was it peaceful? Was it complicated? Was there something you wish had happened differently? Whatever that memory is, do not allow one final chapter to erase the entire story. People are much larger than their final moment. They are the laughter you shared, the lessons they taught, the ordinary mornings, the unexpected conversations, the times they stood beside you when nobody else understood, and even the imperfections that made the relationship real. Perhaps you have been looking backward so intensely that you forgot to look at what their life placed inside you. Their influence may still appear in the way you treat people, the way you care, the way you persevere, or the way you now understand the value of time. That is the part many people overlook. A person can leave your physical world while the meaning of what you shared continues shaping the person you are becoming. And now, before you move away from this message, remember something important: you are allowed to continue. You are allowed to laugh again. You are allowed to make new memories. You are allowed to experience beautiful moments without believing that happiness somehow betrays the person you lost. If they loved you, then their love was never meant to become a chain around your future. It was meant to become part of your foundation. Something huge is waiting for you in the next realization, because the message we are uncovering is moving toward the one question your heart may have avoided for a long time. If you could sit with that person for only 5 minutes today, what would you finally tell them? Don't skip. Stay till the end, because the answer may reveal something about your own heart that you have never been able to put into words. My beloved child, imagine for one quiet moment that the world becomes still, the noise disappears, and you are given the chance to sit across from the person you loved one final time. You cannot change what happened. You cannot rewrite the past. You cannot add another year to the calendar. You only have a few moments to speak. What would come out first? Would you say, "I love you"? Would you say, "I'm sorry"? Would you say, "I wish I had understood you better"? Or perhaps you would say nothing at all, because sometimes the deepest emotions become too large for language. Stay till the end, because this question is leading somewhere important. The message you are searching for may begin with the words you wish you had spoken, but it may end with something much more powerful. Realizing that some of those words can still transform the way you live today. Maybe you have been carrying an invisible conversation for months or years. You replay moments. You remember what you should have said. You wonder whether they knew how much they meant to you. You think about that one day when you were distracted, that one argument you wish had never happened, that opportunity you thought would come again. But listen carefully. Do not let regret become the only voice through which you remember them. Their entire story with you was not defined by one missed opportunity. Love was present in countless moments you may have forgotten, the meals, the laughter, the questions, the small favors, the shared silence, the ordinary days that never seemed important until they became memories. And if there is something you still wish you could tell them, say it now in the quiet of your own heart. Not because you need to pretend they are physically hearing you, but because your heart deserves the freedom of finally expressing what it has been holding inside. Here is the truth that may surprise you: closure does not always arrive as one perfect answer. Sometimes closure begins when you stop waiting for the past to become different. You can honor someone without living inside their absence. You can remember their face and still look toward tomorrow. You can miss them deeply and still allow yourself to become happy again. Don't skip, because the next part goes even deeper into the message behind the memory. Something huge is waiting for you, not a supernatural promise, but a truth about love that can survive distance, time, and change. What someone planted in your life can continue growing through the choices you make. So if they taught you kindness, practice it. If they taught you courage, live it. If they taught you forgiveness, offer it. If they taught you to appreciate life, stop postponing it. Perhaps the most meaningful message they left was never written down at all. Perhaps it is waiting for you in the person you are becoming. My beloved child, there is something about their memory that you may have misunderstood all this time. You thought remembering them meant reopening the pain, but perhaps the memory is returning because there is still something beautiful inside it that your heart has not finished understanding. Think about the smallest thing you remember: the way they laughed, the way they looked at you, a simple sentence they used to repeat, or a completely ordinary moment that somehow became unforgettable. Don't skip, because sometimes the quietest memory carries the strongest meaning. You may have spent so much time thinking about the moment you lost them that you forgot to ask what you gained from having known them. Their presence may have changed the way you love, the way you recognize genuine people, the way you value time, and the way you understand what truly matters. That is not replacing them. That is carrying forward something they helped create within you. But there is another truth you need to hear. Perhaps you have secretly wondered whether they would be disappointed in the way your life has unfolded since they left. Maybe you feel you should have achieved more, healed sooner, become stronger, or stopped feeling emotional when their memory appears. Listen carefully: there is no perfect timetable for missing someone. You do not need to prove that you are okay every day. Some days you will remember them and smile. Other days, one tiny detail may bring tears to your eyes. Both can exist together. Healing does not erase love, and moving forward does not mean moving away from everything they meant to you. Stay till the end, because the message is getting closer to the part that matters most. What would happen if instead of asking, "Why did they leave?" you began asking, "What did their life teach me that I am meant to carry?" And maybe that is where the whole truth begins to reveal itself. The person you loved cannot return to finish every conversation, but the meaning of your relationship does not have to end with the last conversation. Their influence can continue through your decisions. Their kindness can continue through your kindness. Their courage can continue through your courage. The love you received can become love you give. Something huge is waiting for you in that realization, because perhaps the final message is not asking you to look endlessly toward what has already happened. Perhaps it is asking you to look at the life still standing in front of you and recognize its value. Don't skip now. The next part will take this even deeper, because there may be one thing you have been carrying that you were never meant to carry forever, and once you understand what it is, the memory of this person may feel completely different. My beloved child, what if the heaviest thing you have carried since losing them was never their memory, but the guilt you attached to it? Maybe you keep returning to the same unanswered question: what if I had called? What if I had stayed longer? What if I had said those words sooner? The mind can create endless versions of a past that can no longer be changed. But don't skip, because this is where the message takes a turn. You are not required to punish yourself forever for being human. You did not know everything you know now. You made decisions with the understanding, emotions, and circumstances you had at that time. And if there were things left unsaid, that does not automatically mean the love between you was incomplete. Sometimes love was already present in hundreds of ordinary moments that never seemed important enough to remember. Look deeper into the relationship, beyond its final chapter. Remember the moments when they knew you were struggling without you explaining anything. Remember the times they made you laugh when you did not feel like smiling. Remember the advice you ignored at first but eventually understood. Remember the little things they did that you never properly thanked them for. Those moments matter. The final conversation was only one moment in an entire story. It does not have the authority to erase everything that came before it. Stay till the end, because there is something you need to understand about the message you have been waiting for. Sometimes the words we desperately want to hear from someone else are words we must finally give ourselves. I forgive you. I understand. You did what you could with what you knew. Let those words breathe inside your heart for a moment. Not as an excuse to forget, but as permission to stop carrying a burden that has already taken too much from you. And now imagine what could happen if you honored their memory by changing one thing in your life. Maybe you become more present with the people still beside you. Maybe you stop postponing meaningful conversations. Maybe you tell someone you love them while you have the chance. Maybe you choose peace over an argument that is no longer worth winning. Maybe you finally pursue something you have been delaying because life taught you that time is precious. Something huge is waiting for you in the next part, because the deepest message may not be hidden in what this person left behind, it may be hidden in what their life awakened inside you. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because we are moving toward the moment when the unfinished words, the memories, and the love you still carry begin forming one powerful truth. Their story may have ended, but what their presence changed in you can continue. My beloved child, there is a reason one particular memory keeps returning when you least expect it. Maybe you have tried to move forward, yet suddenly their face appears in your mind, and for a few seconds you can almost remember exactly how life felt when they were still here. Do not rush away from that memory. Stay till the end, because perhaps you have been asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, "Why can't I stop thinking about them?" ask yourself, "What does this memory still mean to me?" The answer may surprise you. Sometimes a memory survives because it carries a lesson, a value, or a feeling that still belongs in your life. And maybe that is why their presence still feels powerful, not because you are supposed to remain in yesterday, but because something they gave you still has a place in tomorrow. Don't skip, because the next realization reaches the part of this story you may have been avoiding. There may be a sentence they once said that you did not understand until much later. Maybe they told you to take care of yourself. Maybe they encouraged you to keep going when life felt uncertain. Maybe they reminded you not to waste precious time on people or situations that drained your peace. At the time, those words may have sounded ordinary. Now they may feel completely different. That is one of the strange things about losing someone. Their old words can suddenly become new lessons. And perhaps the message you have been searching for is already contained inside something they once told you. You do not need to invent new words for them. You only need to finally listen to the words they actually left with you. If there is something you wish you could ask them today, pause and think about what they would have wanted for your life, not what would keep you stuck, but what would help you become stronger, kinder, wiser, and more alive. And here comes the truth that may change the way you carry their memory from this moment forward. You can love someone deeply without waiting for the past to return. You can miss their presence while still embracing your future. You can keep their photograph, remember their voice, revisit their favorite places, and still build a life they never got to witness. Something huge is waiting for you in that choice. Perhaps honoring them does not mean constantly looking behind you. Perhaps honoring them means becoming the kind of person their love helped you become. So stay with me, because we are not finished. There is still one layer beneath all these memories, a truth about the final words you wish you had heard, the words you never got to say, and the powerful way those unfinished words can finally become peace within you. My beloved child, now we reach the part of this message that may feel the most personal, because there is probably one sentence you wish you could hear from that person more than anything else. Maybe you wish they could tell you they were proud of you. Maybe you wish they could say they understood. Maybe you wish they could simply say, "I know you loved me." Stay till the end, because that final sentence may reveal more about your heart than you realize. When someone we love is gone, the mind often becomes obsessed with unfinished conversations, searching for certainty that the past cannot provide. But perhaps you already know more than you think. Look at the years you shared. Look at the sacrifices, the laughter, the forgiveness, the ordinary moments, and the times you were there for each other. Love is rarely contained inside one perfect sentence. It is usually hidden inside thousands of small choices. And perhaps there is something you have never forgiven yourself for. Maybe you were impatient. Maybe you walked away during an argument. Maybe you were busy when they needed you. Maybe you assumed there would always be another opportunity to talk. If that is your story, listen carefully. Regret can teach you, but it should not become your identity. Let the lesson remain while you release the punishment. You cannot change yesterday, but you can allow yesterday to change the way you live today. If you learn that time is precious, be present now. If you learn that people need to hear, "I love you," say it now. If you learn that forgiveness should not always be postponed, practice it now. Don't skip, because the most meaningful part of this message is not about recovering a moment that has already passed, it is about recognizing the moments that are still in your hands. And here is the revelation. Perhaps the message you wanted from them was never meant to give you permission to remain sad. Perhaps, if you could hear their heart through everything you shared, the most loving message would be simple: keep living. Keep loving. Keep becoming. Do not turn my absence into the reason you stop experiencing the life you still have. Something huge is waiting beyond that realization, because the memory of someone can become more than something you cry over. It can become something that strengthens you. Their story can remind you to appreciate the people beside you before ordinary days become precious memories. Stay till the end, because the next part moves toward the deepest question of all. When the tears settle and the memories become quieter, what will you choose to do with the love that remains? My beloved child, perhaps you have been waiting for one final sentence, one unmistakable answer that could make everything you have carried suddenly make sense. But listen closely, because the deepest truth may be quieter than you expected. The person you loved is not defined only by the day you lost them, and your relationship with them is not reduced to the moment their story ended. What remains is everything that was real between you. The lessons, the laughter, the forgiveness, the memories, and the ways they shaped your heart. Stay till the end, because there is one realization still waiting for you. You may never receive the exact words you wish they had spoken, but you can still discover what their life meant by looking at the person you became because you knew them. Don't skip, because sometimes the final piece of a story is not hidden in the past. It is revealed by what you choose to do next. Think about what you would want them to see if they could witness your life today. Would you want them to see you constantly blaming yourself? Would you want them to see you refusing every beautiful moment because you feel guilty for moving forward? Or would you want them to see you standing again, loving again, laughing again, and becoming stronger without forgetting them? That question changes everything. You do not honor someone by destroying your own happiness. You honor them by allowing what was good in your relationship to continue through you. If they taught you patience, practice patience. If they showed you compassion, give compassion. If they believed in your potential, stop treating yourself as though your story ended with theirs. And if there were words left unsaid, let those words become actions now. Tell the people who matter that you love them. Make the call. Offer forgiveness. Be present. Do not keep waiting for tomorrow to say what your heart already knows today. And now comes the truth that may stay with you long after this video ends. The message may not be asking you to search for your loved one somewhere beyond your reach. It may be asking you to recognize what they already left within you. Their influence can become courage when you feel weak, tenderness when you become impatient, wisdom when you face a choice, and gratitude when an ordinary day feels insignificant. Something huge is waiting in that realization, because the love you receive does not have to disappear simply because their physical presence did. You can carry it forward without being trapped by the past. So stay with me, because there is one final layer still left to uncover, the part that brings together the regret, the memories, the unanswered questions, and the love you still carry. Don't skip now. The next words may be the ones your heart has been trying to find all along. My beloved child, we have reached the moment where everything we uncovered comes together. You came looking for a message from someone you loved who passed away, perhaps hoping for one final answer, one sentence that could somehow settle everything inside your heart. But the truth is more powerful than a perfect sentence. Their life already left evidence of what they meant to you. It lives in the memories you cannot forget, the lessons you still remember, the kindness you learned from them, and the parts of yourself that became stronger because you knew them. Stay till the end, because this final message is not asking you to remain trapped in yesterday. It is asking you to recognize something you may have overlooked. Love can leave an imprint without leaving behind a physical voice. You may not be able to change what happened, but you can decide what their memory will mean from this day forward. If you could speak to them now, perhaps you would finally say everything you kept inside. I remember you. I still carry the good you gave me. I am sorry for what I could not change. I am grateful for what you taught me. And I will keep living. Maybe those words are enough. Maybe you do not need a perfect ending anymore. Maybe you need permission to close the chapter of regret while keeping the chapter of love open. Do not confuse moving forward with forgetting. You can build a new life and still remember the old one. You can laugh without betraying your memories. You can love someone new without erasing someone who mattered before. You can wake up tomorrow and choose happiness without feeling guilty. And if this person truly mattered to you, then perhaps the most meaningful way to honor them is not by remaining in sorrow, but by becoming more intentional with the life you still have. So when this video ends, do one thing quietly. Think of that person and choose one beautiful lesson they left behind. Carry it into your next day. Let their memory encourage you to speak with love, forgive with wisdom, appreciate ordinary moments, and stop postponing the things that matter. Something huge was waiting for you here, but perhaps it was not a hidden supernatural answer. Perhaps it was this truth: what someone gave your heart can continue through the way you live. Their chapter may have ended, but your chapter is still being written. Don't skip the meaning of that. Stay with the memory, but do not surrender your future to it. Remember them, honor them, love what they meant to you, and then keep walking. Because sometimes the most beautiful message a person leaves behind is not, "Stay where I was," but simply, "Take the love we shared and let it become part of the life you still have." My beloved child, there is one final truth you need to carry with you, and it may be the most important part of everything you have heard. When someone we deeply love passes away, we sometimes spend so much time searching for one final message that we overlook the message already written across the entire relationship. It was in the moments they chose you, the times they listened, the laughter you shared, the lessons they gave you, and even the imperfections you learned to forgive. Maybe you wanted one final conversation because you believed one perfect conversation could answer every question. But perhaps you never needed perfection. Perhaps what you needed was permission to accept that love can be real even when the story is unfinished. Stay till the end, because if you have been carrying one unanswered question inside your heart, you may finally understand why it has remained there. Don't skip, because this final realization is not about forcing an answer from the past, it is about allowing the love that remains to guide the future. Think about them one more time, but this time do not focus on how they left your life. Focus on how they entered it. Remember the first memories that made them important to you. Remember the little things you once took for granted. Remember how their presence changed an ordinary day. Remember the advice that seemed simple but became meaningful years later. And if there were mistakes between you, let them become lessons instead of permanent sentences against yourself. You were human. They were human. Neither of you had the ability to know exactly how much time you would have together. That is why this moment matters. The people still beside you are not guaranteed unlimited tomorrows either. So if this memory has taught you anything, let it teach you to love while you can, speak while you can, forgive while you can, and appreciate people before you are forced to appreciate their memories. And now, my beloved child, if there is one message you should take from this entire journey, let it be this: you are allowed to continue living a beautiful life without leaving their memory behind. You are allowed to smile again. You are allowed to dream again. You are allowed to create moments they never got to see. You are allowed to become someone they would have been proud to know. Their absence does not cancel the love that existed, and your future does not dishonor your past. Something huge is waiting for you in the life ahead, not because anyone can promise exactly what tomorrow will bring, but because you still have choices, opportunities, relationships, and moments in your hands today. So when you think of them again, do not only ask what they would have said. Ask what their love taught you to become. Then live that answer. Carry the memory gently. Carry the lesson boldly. And let the love remain without allowing the sorrow to decide where your story ends. My beloved child, if you have stayed this long, then perhaps you already understand why this message was never really about finding one perfect sentence from the past. It was about the truth that remains when everything else becomes quiet. There are people whose lives touch ours so deeply that even after they are gone, something about them continues to influence the person we become. Maybe you still remember their voice. Maybe you still remember their smile. Maybe there is a place you avoid because it brings back too much. Or maybe, unexpectedly, you can remember them now and feel gratitude alongside the sadness. Whatever your story is, do not judge your heart for the way it remembers. Stay till the end, because the final truth is simple but powerful. You do not have to choose between remembering them and living your life. You can do both. You can carry their memory while creating new memories. You can miss them while still being grateful for today. And perhaps the words you wanted from them were never complicated. Maybe you wanted to know that they knew you loved them. Maybe you wanted to hear that they forgave you. Maybe you wanted to know that they were proud of you. Since the past cannot be rewritten, let those unanswered questions become invitations to live differently now. Tell the people you love what they mean to you. Do not wait for the perfect occasion. Do not assume there will always be another conversation. If someone matters, let them know. If forgiveness is possible, do not postpone it unnecessarily. If you have a dream, stop treating every tomorrow as guaranteed. The greatest tribute to someone who taught you the value of life is to actually value the life you still have. And if you ever feel guilty for smiling again, remember this: happiness does not erase memory. A new joyful moment does not cancel an old meaningful one. Your heart has room for both. So when this message finally ends, do not search endlessly for another sign or another answer. Instead, take what is real and meaningful with you. Think of the person you loved and choose one thing they taught you that you can practice today. Let their kindness become your kindness. Let their courage strengthen your choices. Let their mistakes teach you what not to repeat. Let the love you shared remind you to cherish the people who are still within reach. And when their memory returns unexpectedly, you do not have to run from it. Pause. Breathe. Remember. Then continue forward. Because perhaps the most powerful message left behind was never a mysterious sentence waiting somewhere to be discovered. Perhaps it was the life they lived, the love they gave, and the part of you that changed because they were once here. Carry that truth gently. And keep going. Not because you have forgotten them, but because their memory deserves a place in your heart while your own story continues.